What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Jorge's House of Horrors, where we unravel twisted tales of the unexplained and sometimes the overexplained. I'm your host, Jorge, and we're going to hop across the Atlantic to dig into one of the most famous and most contested poltergeist cases of the 20th century. It's got everything: disembodied voices, levitating kids, flying furniture, cold spots, cursed toys, and one family caught in the eye of a media hurricane. But like any good haunting, this one comes with a twist, because not everyone agrees on what really happened, including the people who claim to live through it. This is the story of the Enfield Poltergeist. It's August 1977 in Enfield, a working-class neighborhood in North London. Peggy Hodgson, a single mother of four, calls the police after her daughters Janet and Margaret report strange goings-on in their bedroom. Furniture moving by itself, knocking on the walls, and voices that didn't belong to anyone in the house. At first, the police were skeptical, until one officer saw a chair slide across the room on its own. That's when things escalated from spooky to spotlight. Over the next several months, the Hodgson house became a media frenzy. The local newspaper ran daily updates. TV crews were invited inside, and British paranormal investigators, most notably Maurice Grosse and Guy Leon Playfair from the Society for Psychical Research, set up camp in the house. Their goal? To document what they believe was a genuine haunting. Here's what was reportedly observed: loud knocks that responded to questions, objects flying across the room, cups, toys, furniture, stuff like that. Janet, the 11-year-old in the house, was said to levitate, captured in a famous photo mid-air. Disembodied voices speaking in guttural tones, one identifying itself as Bill, a man who died in the house years before. Cold spots and sudden temperature drops. Apparent possession episodes that left Janet speaking in different voices or contorting unnaturally. The investigators claimed to witness dozens of unexplained events. Some even believed Janet was being used as a conduit for something inhuman. But not everyone was convinced. Critics were quick to point out inconsistencies. The levitation photo looked suspiciously like a girl jumping off her bed, and the voices, well, Janet admitted she could do ventriloquism, and Playfair himself admitted the girls were caught faking activity on multiple occasions, but insisted that while some events were fabricated, others were beyond explanation. Even Janet, in later interviews, said about 2% of the events were faked, usually to test the investigators or get attention, but she maintained that the majority of the events were real. As the case grew, so did the attention. Reporters staked out the house. The public was divided. And then, about a year into the haunting, a new set of players arrived, straight from the US of A. Enter the Warrens. Ed and Lorraine Warren made a brief appearance at the Enfield house in 1978. And according to multiple sources, they weren't officially invited by the main investigators and only stayed for a short time, maybe like a day or two. But they quickly declared the house the site of demonic presence. That raised eyebrows, for sure. Guy Leon Playfair, who had spent months in the house, was blunt. He said Ed was only interested in making money from the case and that their involvement was exaggerated beyond recognition. In later retellings, especially in The Conjuring 2, and if you've seen that film, you'll see the Warrens portrayed as the central heroes. In reality, their role in Enfield was minor, and that just didn't stop their legend from growing. The Conjuring 2 turned the Enfield case into a full-blown Hollywood horror epic, complete with demonic nuns and flying furniture and heroic speeches. And while the film does what films do, condense and dramatize, it also reshapes the truth. In the movie, the Warrens are deeply involved. In reality, they were on the sidelines. That creative license has caused friction between filmmakers and actual paranormal researchers who feel the Warrens' role was massively inflated. But here's the thing. Even without the Hollywood treatment, the Enfield case was still weird. More than 30 witnesses, including journalists, police, and skeptics, reported seeing unexplainable phenomena. Was it a haunting? Was it mass hysteria, or just a family in crisis, or something far more human? So the skeptics will always chime in. Psychologists looking back at the case have pointed out that there were several key factors. Janet was entering puberty, a common thread in poltergeist cases. The family was under extreme emotional and financial stress, and the media attention may have reinforced and escalated their behavior. Some skeptics argue the entire thing was a complex coping mechanism, a subconscious way for Janet to express trauma, or a conscious attempt by the kids to gain attention in a chaotic household. Still, it's hard to explain all the evidence away. Some of the recordings remain unsettling, and those who were there, like Maurice Gross, went to their graves believing it was real. And where are they now? Janet Hodgson largely avoided the spotlight after the events, but she resurfaced in later years to share her experience. She stands by most of it, but admits the pressure, media frenzy, and attention were overwhelming. As for the Warrens, the Enfield case became another feather in their spiritual cap, and even their involvement was brief. It was helping to solidify their brand internationally, and guess what? They got The Conjuring 2 out of it, so yeah, there we go. Anyway, what do you think? If this episode levitated your curiosity, hit that like button, subscribe to Jorge's House of Horrors, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next haunting. I'm Jorge, and this is Jorge's House of Horrors.